Is your rent over 2,000? Why are there plans to stay at the new apartment only for a year? Do you and your boyfriend pay half? Ooh, this is a juicy one. Hey guys, welcome back to another day of Vlogmas. Today I have for you a Q&A. It has been such a long time since I've done a Q&A, like an actual sit-down Q&A. The ones that I normally do are always back on Instagram, and I honestly miss just sitting down and chatting with you guys. I'm a little bit nervous because the sun is about to sunset on this side, so if the lighting is all over the place in this video, that's the reason why. But without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so I asked you on Instagram to send me some questions, and honestly I want to start off first with like a mini intro in case you guys are new to my channel and haven't watched previous Q&As. A quick little rundown to my most frequently asked questions. So my nationality is Dominican. I was born in Dominican Republic, raised here. I get a lot of questions as to why I don't upload Spanish videos or why I don't make Spanish videos, but honestly it's just because I've gotten so used to making them in English and my audience is English. Even though I do know that most of my audience is Hispanic, I would love to make more Spanish videos. I used to have a Spanish channel, still do, and that channel actually has 50,000 followers or subscribers. I'm not the greatest uploading there. I feel like I am more comfortable speaking English on YouTube than Spanish because there's so many people that will criticize my Spanish, even though I speak fluent Spanish, but I don't know, it's just a little bit intimidating. But if you really do want me to make a Spanish channel or Spanish videos, leave me some ideas in the comments below. Another frequently asked question is about Eric and I. We're going to be making 3 years next year, and we met on Bumble. So if you're wondering, that's where we met. I made the first move. We actually have a boyfriend tag, which I'll link in the description box in case you guys are interested in watching that and learning more about us. But yeah, what else? I am turning 27 this December, like in a couple days. So that's another fun fact about me. All right, let's dive into the real questions now because there's a lot of frequently asked questions, especially about the apartment. Someone said, how do you like living outside of the Bronx? Like I mentioned, I was born in Dominican Republic, raised here. We first moved to Long Island and then lived there for like 2-3 years and then moved to the Bronx. So I honestly feel like I'm from the Bronx because that's where I spent most of my youth and teenage years and stuff. Personally, I really liked living in the Bronx. I think it made me who I am now. It just gives you like a different thick skin, you know? So I love being from the Bronx, even though it has like a bad reputation. I've never had any issues or any like typical stereotypical things that would happen in the Bronx happen to me. Like I've never seen anything that's violent, or I don't know how to explain it, but you know what's stereotypical about the Bronx? Nothing like that has happened to me. But the question is, how do I like living outside of the Bronx? Honestly, I love White Plains. I love it a lot more than I thought I would. I don't know, I feel like I didn't really see myself living here. This was such an out of the blue situation and it just fell so perfectly in the perfect timing, and we really love living here. I love this apartment, love the neighborhood, love like the little pathway that we get to walk. I feel like it's just such a perfect in between because we are really close to the city still, but like we get the nature aspect of living outside of the city. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I love the Bronx, but I love living in White Plains at the moment. All right, another question that I have gotten asked a lot, and it's not that I'm avoiding it, I don't know, I feel like it's a little weird to talk about, but honestly I find it to be very helpful when you hear other people's rent and stuff. So the question is your rent over 2,000? So let me first answer the question about my old apartment because I got that question so often. My old rent for the studio apartment was $1,500, which I know it's a lot. But then they randomly lowered it to $1,325 like February, basically at the beginning of quarantine. They dropped the rent and I just never asked. So maybe all along they were charging me more than they should have, which I'm sure they were. But yeah, the initial rent was $1,500, and now for this apartment it is doubled that amount. So it is $3,050 to be exact. I know it's a lot, but we are splitting the rent, and honestly I just wanted to experience living in a luxury apartment and a luxury apartment like this in the city would have been like $5,000. So for a temporary living situation, I find it to be worth the money, even though I know I'm just like throwing money down the drain because we could just be putting money for a down payment on a house. But I love this apartment and I find it to be worth it, even though I know it's a lot. Someone asked, why are there plans to stay at the new apartment only for a year? So I've mentioned here and there that we might be staying here for a year because honestly, we don't know how long we would be staying in this apartment. The end goal, which I also got asked, like, when am I planning to buy a home? The end goal here is for us to buy a home after this apartment. So in a perfect world or perfect timing, we would love to buy a home next year, like end of 2021. But if that doesn't happen, we would just rent here for another year and buy the following. But yeah, to answer your question, we aren't necessarily settled on just staying here for a year. We just don't know. So it's honestly what God has for us and how things plan out. Another very personal question, but I'm here to answer them all. Do you and your boyfriend pay half? And if so, how? Do you have a joint account? So we don't have a joint account yet, but we just split everything 50-50 on like bills and rent and all of that. For dinner, Eric mostly pays, but we also split that as well sometimes. What is something you feel you haven't accomplished yet? There's so many things I feel like I haven't accomplished. Honestly, the list goes on and on. I kind of feel like everything in my goals for 2020 I didn't accomplish, unfortunately. I mean, obviously this apartment was such an accomplishment for me, and a couple other goals were accomplished, but the main ones weren't, which were to get my permit, to get my license, to get a car. So basically all those three, I needed to first get my permit. I have not gotten my permit yet. Living in White Plains now, it's a must. So that is definitely my top priority at the moment. I just need to get my permit.
And your license.
And my license.
Which we haven't gotten yet.
And then another one was to start my business. I did make an LLC for my business, but I have not launched anything yet. So that was put on pause with everything else going on at the same time. I just haven't had time, I feel, to fully dedicate, because whenever I launch my brand, I don't want to just half-ass. I want to give my 110% and give the best quality. So yeah, I'm a perfectionist. All right, this is a good one. Advice for someone moving in for the first time with a boyfriend, going to do it next year. I'm a little nervous. So let me just be brutally honest here. Living with a boyfriend has its pros and cons. Honestly, being able to live with your best friend and have basically the perfect roommate, which is your partner, it's amazing. I love living with Eric, but it obviously has some cons, which would be technically just compromising on, let's say, decorations around the apartment. Any decision that you make around the apartment obviously has to be a compromise. I feel like space sometimes can be a tricky one when it comes to like closet space and stuff, because us women take a lot of space, let's be honest. What else? Understanding that you need personal space, like giving each other personal space, having him have his like guys night or guys day, and you doing your own thing. It is very important to do your own thing separately, especially when it comes to, like, let's say for example, quarantine, that we needed to spend 24/7 together. That could be a little bit overwhelming in a relationship. So I feel like definitely giving each other space is very important, just like compromise and everything else that I mentioned. When did you know your boyfriend was the one for you? Can you recall a time that it just hit you? So honestly, I don't know, because Eric and I, honestly, we hit it off like right away. Like it just felt different dating him than dating anybody else. And dating online is very tricky and it could be very overwhelming or give you the feeling that it's just temporary. But Eric just made sure to always make me feel like I was the one, and like that he wasn't dating other girls at the same time, or at least I hope so. But the moment that I felt like he was the one, it was definitely seeing how he was with his family. He spoke about his family. He's very family oriented, which is a very important characteristic for me. Ooh, this is a juicy one. You mentioned you have fake friends. How did you move on, and do you still have them on social media? I don't necessarily feel like the word is fake friends, but the video was more about losing friends and the feeling that you get from it, because honestly, I personally feel that losing a friend hurts more than a real breakup. At least for me, that was the case when that happened. So to answer your question, I feel that time, honestly, it's what heals and what helps you move on from a friend breakup, just like any other relationship. But yeah, time, distracting yourself, and basically being around other friends definitely helps a lot. And no, we do not follow each other on social media. We actually unfollowed each other right at the beginning of the whole situation. So what's your favorite thing about Eric? Honestly, just how understanding he is with me and how he deals with me, because I'm not the easiest person to deal with, and just how he loves me. I don't want to get too mushy, but he's a very special one. I feel like you guys can truly tell on video because he just doesn't like social media like that or cameras, but he's a really sweet, kind guy. All right, I have a couple adulting question. What has been the toughest challenge you've had due to adulting? The main stress about adulting is, one, filling out all the paperwork yourself. Anything that has to do with like going to the doctor and making your own appointments is very stressful. The main one and the one that takes the cake, it is definitely taxes. They are so hard to understand, and I hate the fact that they're not really taught in school, and it's something that is so important and crucial to learn. So yeah, taxes is definitely my most stressful thing about adulting. What else about adulting? Paying your own bills and realizing how expensive everything is. Like the simplest things that you thought were so cheap are ridiculously expensive. Like for example, rugs. Why are they so expensive? Bar stools. Why are bar stools so expensive? Anything home related is so expensive, much more than you like assume. And then food shopping has been very stressful, but it's all about finding a balance and just like saving up accordingly. Another similar question is, how do you organize yourself financially to cover all your expenses? Honestly, I don't do anything like particular or something that could truly help, I feel. But what I do recommend, especially before moving out, so you can just start prepping, or even if you have already moved out and you want to be better about your finances, is to break down everything that you actually spend on. So food, for example, how much do you spend on food weekly? How can you lower that amount? So let's say getting less Starbucks and making it at home, or getting less takeouts, going less to restaurants, or hanging out with friends. Just like simple things that you can do to lower the amount that you spend on monthly. It's very key and important. I lost track of what I was saying, but back to the list. Basically break things down on what you spend on every single month. So Netflix, like the smallest detail of spending, you have to write it down. So Netflix, internet, phone service, cable. If you have cable, don't recommend getting cable. That is something that you should definitely get out of your expenses. The list should go from rent, light bill, cable or internet. Again, scratch out the cable. Your phone service, Netflix, Amazon if you have Amazon Prime, anything that is charged to your car every single month, you have to write down, right? So then you add the total of your expenses and then just divide it either weekly or bi-weekly depending on how you get paid. So you can put money aside for that and then save the rest. I feel like it's very important and crucial for us to start saving young. It is very hard, obviously, to save when you have other expenses and like, let's say, college tuition to pay. But if you can save at least $25 a month, I swear it is going to add up at the end. So yes, saving, very important. And also if you have credit cards, which unfortunately they're crucial and important to have for building your credit and stuff, just make sure you pay them on time. But yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not the greatest at financial advice, but my main tip is definitely to write everything down, to write your total and how much you make a month, and then just divide it either weekly or bi-weekly. I hope that helps. I feel like I get this question for every Q&A, and I have answered it before, but it is, why didn't you pursue your pageant career further? So if you don't know, now you know. I actually was Miss Dominican Republic US 2012, and I also went to Dominican Republic to go to Miss Universe. I've always been into modeling and pageants and all of that. I loved the time that I did it, and personally super grateful for pageants because it definitely helped me a lot in so many different ways. Being more confident, which was the main one, and one that truly changed me for the better, because I was a very insecure teenager, you guys. Like, very insecure teenager. Growing up, I had a lot of insecurities and a lot of like deep personal issues. Not that pageants helped cure that, because honestly it could also enhance insecurities and make them worse. I personally feel that it helped me a lot to become more me and to love myself for who I am and just give me more confidence and a better way to carry myself. So I loved pageants. Now the reason why I stopped doing pageants, it's because there's a lot of sketchy things that happen behind the scenes, all right? I don't want to say that there's favoritism, but there's definitely favoritism in every single pageant. And I feel like you've given so much time, and it's also very expensive financially to do pageants, that I just wasn't really interested in doing it for, like, what else was I going to get out of it than exposure, which I feel like I got enough of it when I got it. I just felt like I wanted more to my career that I knew pageants wouldn't necessarily give me. I feel like I got to a point where I needed to decide to continue doing pageants for just like hopefully luck, or to pursue my real career, which turned out to be YouTube. I still love pageants though, love watching them, and I will continue to do Miss Universe reactions. They're my favorite to make. And I grew up watching pageants, so I love watching them. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Also, I feel like pageants could be very addicting, just like surgeries. I don't know where I'm going with this, but pageants could be very addicting to the point where girls would do pageants over and over and over again and just need that high, and I just lost it. Like, I just didn't need it, you know? The sun is about to hit my face any second, so I need to speed up the process of these questions and answers. How do you stay motivated and have the energy to get up and clean, organize every day? I don't know. I personally love cleaning, but it is very draining, and it's also stressful when you move to a new apartment and everything is a mess and you don't know where to put things and organize things. I am a firm believer that a clear space is a clear mind, so I just love cleaning for that aspect. My main tip is honestly just organizing the tiniest bit every single day, especially during the night. So before you go to sleep, organize, let's say, your nightstand or your dresser or your bathroom, and it's going to help you stay on track and have less clutter in that way. Oh my gosh, the sun is completely washing me out. I'm gonna have to move or something. Someone said, does your OCD ever get Eric annoyed? It does to my husband. Listen, that is like the main reason why Eric and I argue, because of my annoying, like, I don't know, I'm just so particular about everything. For example, this rug, I wanted it to be specifically in the center of wall to wall, and it honestly made us like go back and forth with it for a while. I'm very particular, and it's honestly something that I'm trying to like learn to let go of. Everything needs to be perfect or like specific way, but I don't know, like I literally get anxiety when I don't see something in the place that I want it to go, if that makes sense. By the way, I think I got a question as to like if I've been medically diagnosed about OCD. I have not, but the description definitely describes me, so if the shoe fits, wear it, I feel. Just kidding. But honestly, maybe I should go and get that checked out. Oh my God, the lighting in this video. Is vlogging your full-time job, and if so, did you work prior? This is another question I've answered many times before, but yes, YouTube is my full-time job. Blogging influencer is like my title, I guess. I've been doing this full-time for like, I would say 5 years or so, like full-time, but I've been doing YouTube for almost 10, if not already 10. Prior to that, I was obviously, let's see, oh no, you see, this is what I'm saying. I had a fuzz in my hair. If I see that fuzz when I'm editing this video, my anxiety is gonna be to the roof. All right, where was I? I've been doing YouTube for almost 10 years total. So before doing it full time, I was working a regular job. I used to work at a party planner company, and actually Joancy and I used to work there together. So it was a blast working together. The job itself wasn't like the best, but we used to work bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, weddings, birthdays, you name it, just anything that has to do with parties. How do you handle cultural differences between you and Eric? I've answered this question before, but honestly, I feel like we don't have a lot of cultural differences, or maybe I'm not understanding the word correctly, because obviously we do have cultural differences, and there's things that, for example, I love mango con salami. He doesn't like mango at all, and he doesn't understand the idea of like eating salami fried. I feel like our main cultural difference has to be food and music, because I wish I could just blast every single Spanish music and him be fine with it. Not that he has an issue with me listening to Spanish music, because he does enjoy some Spanish artists, not all. But yeah, mostly music and food. Like, he doesn't like beans. Many Dominican food he doesn't like, but he does eat our food. You know, it's just that he doesn't love it because it's different for him, and that's totally understandable. Now, if you're asking for like cultural differences between other people and how they treat us, that's where I don't feel that there's like a difference with me dating him than me dating a Hispanic guy, you know? At least I don't personally feel that on my end. The same girl actually asked, I'm dating a white guy and I'm so nervous to bring him around my crazy Dominican family. Listen, the way that Eric met my family was the most embarrassing. Not embarrassing, because my mom's gonna watch this and she's gonna be like, oh my God, tú no tienes que tener vergüenza. But it was very embarrassing on my end. Like, Eric couldn't care less. Like, Eric was so happy to be there and stuff, but for me it was so embarrassing because it was one of those like really typical Dominican parties. My family decided to have a family reunion. Like, we haven't had one in years, so that one was a big family reunion party with like 300 plus people, all right? So I was trying to hide it from Eric and just go with my mom alone, but my mom kept insisting and asking. So my mom asked in front of him and he was like, what do you mean you have a party? Of course I want to go. So we go to the party and literally just like meeting everyone, because you know Hispanics, especially Dominicans, we love to kiss and hug every single person, and if you don't, then you're disrespectful, okay? No te criaron bien. But yeah, I mean, for me, it wasn't embarrassing for him to meet my family. It was more like how loud and crazy everything was, because they had two, not one, but two live típico bands, which if you know, you know, okay? That we couldn't even hear each other. So everyone was just like, oh my God, hola, hola. I don't know, it was very funny and interesting to say the least. At a point, my uncle was like, you need to pull him out and show him how to dance bachata and merengue. It was just really funny. And honestly, Eric didn't really care. He had a great time. We talked about that in our boyfriend tag as well, right? Last two questions. Does influencing ever become so overwhelming you just can't? All right, I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys. I personally feel that this job, influencing the whole influencer world, it's such a privilege and a blessing to have this as my job, because it's truly my dream job. Like, this definitely topped my dream job. My dream job growing up was to work in TV, or like basically to be a host in a TV show. And I get to have my own platform that I've created for myself. So I personally love the fact that I've been able to build this platform and just like this tribe. But being an influencer definitely has its overwhelming days and just like moments that you're like, what the heck? There's so much on my plate, there's so much to do, there's so many contracts I'm under. My biggest issue is like balancing it all and basically learning to say no more and just deciding between certain partnerships so I don't have so much on my plate. But to answer your question, yes, it is definitely overwhelming a lot of the times, especially when it comes to partnerships and being under contract, but also just putting a happy face all the time. Which I know that we don't have to put a happy face, but at the end of the day, who wants to go to a page of someone that's either complaining or being sad all the time? I feel like that could be overwhelming a lot of the times, but nonetheless, I am so grateful for this job and this platform and career, we shall say. All right, so the last question that I want to end with is about YouTube, which is, do you think it's a good time to start a YouTube channel? Any tips on starting off? I could totally make a separate video on either how I started my YouTube channel or tips for a new YouTuber. Just leave me in the comments below. If you want me to make that video, leave me specific questions down below, because honestly it could get overwhelming to make that video. But to answer your question, I feel like it is the perfect time to start a YouTube channel or even a TikTok or Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, it is going to be very hard to start now than it was to start years back, especially on YouTube, because it is very competitive and it's harder to push out your content than, let's say, TikTok. I feel like TikTok is the perfect way for you to start anything and then for it to blow up quicker than Instagram or YouTube. I feel like I never had that one video that blew up and it like just made my YouTube be what it is now. There has been videos that definitely brought in more people, like my Miss Universe videos, my cleaning videos did great, my music playlist videos did great too. I miss those so much, but I can't make them due to copyright. So yeah, YouTube can be very discouraging at first, but my main tip with social media and anything that has to do with this is consistency and honestly being your true self. At the end of the day, whoever's watching your YouTube channel is watching you for a reason. So don't try to be anyone else because it's very easy to see and notice. So yeah, consistency and being your authentic self is my main tip. Upload twice a week if you can on YouTube or anywhere that you're trying to start like a platform, because if you don't upload consistency, it's just not worth it. But with that being said, I don't want to give you guys false promises out here because YouTube is a lot more work than you assume. And a lot of people that I've tried to help to start a YouTube channel, friends, family, have noticed how much work it is, and then they just like fall off and don't do it because they can't stay consistent on it. And if you can't stay consistent on it, it's just you wasting your time at the end of the day. But I do encourage everyone to start a YouTube channel because I think this is just an amazing platform to express yourself, and I feel like there's a place for everyone on YouTube. Like, the beauty of YouTube to me is that there's going to be someone out there interested in what you have to offer or share. Anything. Could be crochet, could be a cat, could be your cars, like it, literally anything, someone else is going to be interested, which is amazing. Right, so that was pretty much it for today's questions and answers. I'm sorry for the inconsistent lighting in this video. It's going to stress me out editing it. The sun is currently setting. It's a beautiful sunset, but I hope you guys got to learn a little bit more about me. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and see you next time. Bye. There's so many when are you gonna get married questions. First of all, second of all, you're like, I'm not the one to be asked, okay? I honestly don't understand when people ask those questions because the girl has no say to that, except for the yes at the end.